Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is a ceremony to help us move more into mutual tolerance and acceptance. That's inspired by a story that I listened to on YouTube tonight. But also, what I want to do that's in connection with that is erase any horrible and horrific images and stories or situations or things like that that are seared in our memory, seared in our mind. And a lot of that could be from media, from different times throughout history where horrible things may have happened, or even just from movies. It could even be unreal, but something so horrible that it stayed stuck in our minds, stuck in our memories. And that can influence our way of thinking. It can influence how we act and feel. And a lot of those negative, violent things that are stuck in our heads and our minds can add to hateful thoughts and behaviors and emotions. And that is exactly the kind of stuff that we want to heal from, right? So, of course, we also have to be careful what we allow into our minds. And this video shall also help us purge some of that. So I'm going to start telling you a little bit more about a conversation I had earlier today with someone who was saying how, things were more cruel in the past. And then he gave an example and mentioned an ancient torture instrument that where basically the person who had created it ended up being killed by it, right? And I'm not going to go into any more details because when this person told me the story, I knew instantly, because I had seen that same documentary on those ancient torture instruments, or I forgot the exact title, but it was so horrible, and it was completely seared into my memory, like that image. Well, it was like they showed kind of like a little clip, right? And it took me months and months to get it out of my head. And I swore myself to never watch anything like that ever again. Because even like after months and months, once in a while, it would pop back into my mind, just as it did today when he brought that up. And I knew instantly what he was talking about as he described it. And I won't describe it to you because it really was absolutely horrific. So those kind of things, like this is something that happened in the distant past, during Roman times in this case. But it doesn't really matter during which time and where exactly around the world, because all throughout history, there were different times and places where torture was used by the authorities. So things like that could come from anywhere in the world, right? And having those kind of things in our conscious awareness in this lifetime, where we have evolved to generally have less cruel, how should I put this? A less cruel 3D reality, such as not having blood sports and stuff like that, like not things for entertainment that involve death in front of us, like live not on screen, right? And pretend. So we have already evolved away from the actual stuff being in front of us, but it's on screen now and it's enacted, right? Or it's acted. So that's already a huge step. So now we gotta go beyond that to eliminate all this darkness, because we can't change into our light bodies if we still have all this darkness weighing us down, right? So that's the one part. And the other part is, and I'm sorry, I actually wrote it down more for myself, and then at the last moment I thought, no, I want to show you. So I hope you can read my scribbles, but I'm going to read it out loud and then I'll put it in the comment box below. So the YouTube channel is called Tales Unveiled. And the video that I listened to, because it was narrated, was she defended a Hell's Angel when cops harassed him. The next day, 200 bikers showed up at her diner. And there it talked about how she was kind of struggling financially because the diner wasn't doing that well, but she did the right, and actually her father was in the hospital or in a care facility, like he wasn't doing well anymore. So it was up to her to keep the diner afloat. And the biker who came into her diner to eat something actually also had a family member in the hospital, and the cops or the police officers that came in started harassing him simply because of the logo that on the clothes that he was wearing, right? But he was very peaceful, minding his own business, and they still harassed him. So she defended him, and after that, the town or village basically pretty much boycotted her diner. But the universe basically paid her back for having done the right thing, in the sense of also the person she had defended having been so thankful that he called favors, or I don't know if favors is quite the right word, but he told all the different chapters of Hell's Angels, like in the surrounding area, about how she had defended him. And the next day, 200 bikers showed up at her diner, and they vowed to make her diner or restaurant a regular stop. So from now on, she would not have to worry about customers, right? Like she would always have enough customers. And the bikers and the villagers, or the people in town, started talking to each other, and the people in town started to lose their prejudice, right? So, and sorry, my voice is kind of cracking because for some reason this story really touched me, because we still struggle with so much discrimination because of ignorance, because of hatred that was taught to people, that was, let's say, portrayed by either the media or authorities, or was passed down through the generations. And you can also see that when there are wars, then in each country, the people are kind of brainwashed against the population of the opposite country. But that's done in both of them. And so much of that is really to keep us all in separation, rather than seeing our commonalities and rising above all this hatred that keeps us separated, right? So, yeah, I think that's it for the explanations. Let's smudge and call in the spirit guides. And first, get rid of all this negative brainwashing and the negative imagery and all that stuff in our heads and minds and emotions and so on, to free ourselves from that, because that is a tool that is being used to keep people stuck in a sense, right? In that vicious cycle of hatred, discrimination, and people turning against each other, right? And I mean, in history, throughout history, it was also sometimes purposely, well, not just sometimes, it was purposely used. Especially, let's say, if another country was supposed to be conquered, they would also like try to divide the local population against each other, and then it was much easier to go in there and conquer them, right? So it is an evil strategy, really. Well, in my opinion, anyhow. So, let's smudge. Enough about this dark stuff. Ooh, and somehow, see, once in a while, I started having pain here, and that's been happening. It started when I was about to close a demon portal, and now every so often it comes, and I feel like it is the dark trying to stop me, and it just started hurting. And it's like, it's weird. It's like every time when I reach for the little smudge cup, or yeah, it's one of those camping cups I use. I actually really like how low it is and with the handle. Anyhow, every time I reached for it, it started hurting, and every time I pulled my hand back, it stopped. So you can see how like there is a direct connection, like there's direct interference, right? So I've definitely touched on a topic here that, so I'm going to use my right hand because they can't stop me. But there's definitely something there that very urgently needs to be healed. So let's get the smudging going. And if all of you at home would like to do your own smudging as well, that would be wonderful. If not, this is good enough, but I think smudging just feels so wonderful and cleansing, and I always, or not always, but usually feel the difference, right? At least when I'm fully mentally there. I've been to ceremonies, or not ceremony, but to sweats where I was kind of not fully focused in the beginning, and then I didn't feel much because I wasn't focused, and then when I smudged again, then I was more there. I could feel it, right? So it also depends on how present in the moment we are. All right, enough said. Let's cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies. Take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed. And especially in this ceremony, help us fully cleanse away and heal any and all prejudice, hatred, any brainwashing that we may have in us, and anything else that is negative energies, emotions, and thoughts towards other people that really shows how we're not really happy within ourselves. Otherwise, that wouldn't come out, right? So let's heal all of that stuff that may still be buried so deeply from childhood that we may not even have consciously noticed some of that. Where on a conscious level, we felt we were open to everyone, but then subconsciously there were some limitations, right? Let all of that be cleansed, cleared. Oh, and yep, the throat chakra is acting up again. Cleansed, cleared, renewed, healed, and transmuted into pure divine essence again. And let it be returned to the universe for reintegration and help us also heal our throat chakra so that we can speak our truth more and more and more with more strength and integrity with every day that goes by, and help us fully and completely reconnect to our own inner divinity and that all around us, and through that be in oneness with all of creation again. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh yeah, that was a good excuse me, one sec. That was a good energy shiver. Woo. All right. Let's call in our divine team. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, and water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light, please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. And what just came to me as I was calling in the spirit guides was how when we wanted to express our emotions, we might have been ridiculed, or laughed at, or told that it wasn't okay to show certain emotions, or otherwise felt that it wasn't appropriate to show our emotions or like certain emotions. And that is the kind of thing that makes children hide their emotions, stuff them down, and a lot of times kind of toughen up or look tough on the outside, right? Appear tough, put on this tough exterior front, this mask, just to protect the vulnerability deep down inside that feels is not safe to show, right? Thank you. All right, so first of all, let us give thanks again for all the blessings and protections, for all the wonderful things that have happened throughout the day today. In my case, I luckily avoided an accident that would have been my fault. Just a moment of not really paying attention and acting a little bit rash, or not rash, but just trying to quickly zip back somewhere and not looking properly, which I usually do. So sometimes we can have those moments where for a quick moment we're not fully quite ourselves, or we don't pay attention as we normally would. Anyhow, so I personally want to give thanks for the protection there. And I've had 3 really, really sweet people where I had lovely interactions with them today, and they were just so kind. So I want to give thanks for that. So I wanted all of you to think of just some wonderful situations, or situations where you were very lucky and protected, or anything like that. That just something that you're really thankful for. And just mention that for a moment, or think of it. And let the ceremony now be dedicated to freeing ourselves from these horrible images and impressions that we carry within us, either from visuals, so either pictures or movies or something that we saw from media. It could have been the news. It could have been something from history that was just really disturbing, violent, horrible, anything like that. Let all those images be pulled out of us. And cast into the light to be burnt away and transmuted into pure divine love light energy, pure divine essence, and returned to the universe for reintegration. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. And I'm also going to use the reversal crank. Let any and all hurt, pain, suffering, trauma, and otherwise negative consequences be healed and removed from us physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, karmically, and in any and all other aspects throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime and moving forward. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. So, help us reach this higher level of understanding of why certain things, why all of this violence had to happen for humanity, to bring us to our current state of consciousness, and from here to move above and beyond that, to help us move out of this reptilian survival instinct way of existing and into a much more divine way of being. Ooh, that was another energy shiver. Ooh. Oh. And with this angel candle and the little mini angel candle holder, or like almost like a mini tree, that shall also reflect the story of Hell's Angels that ended up being this diner woman's or diner owner's actual human angels, in a sense, that they saved her after she showed compassion and kindness and fairness towards someone who there had done nothing wrong. And actually, yeah, what's just coming through as well is in that story, it actually quoted twice how her dad had always taught her to judge people based on their actions and not their clothes, right? So we shall also move into a place of true openness, compassion, understanding, and kindness towards all beings. And we shall overcome any of the prejudices that we were taught growing up, either by our parents, by society, by teachers, like through the educational system or through the media, through any propaganda that may have been wherever we grew up, and so on, right? So all of that shall also be removed from us, sent into the fire to be burnt away and transmuted into divine essence and returned to the universe for reintegration. And let this divine love and light flood into our life so strongly and into our hearts that we no longer have these feelings of separation. We no longer have these feelings of judgment, hate, and superiority, feeling better than anyone else. What else had just popped into my head? I saw a quote on YouTube when I scrolled the other day about how no one else is better than us, and we're not better than anyone else. So we should act accordingly, right? It's like we're all equal. So let us be filled with this strong sense of equality, unity, oneness, love, compassion, kindness, patience, understanding, of also being connected to the divine wisdom that helps us understand why someone might be different from us, because they've had different experiences that have shaped them in a certain way. And to let us really have patience when it comes to people being different. Help us stop jumping to the worst conclusions and start thinking of the best conclusions for each scenario that we encounter. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Oh, and that was another good shiver again. Oof. Oh, let harmony re-enter our lives. We are so infinitely loved, safe, and protected. We are safe at all times. There's no reason to worry. There's no reason to stress. The only reason why we have worried and stressed was out of fear and separation. And we shall now trust the divine to have our backs, to have us at all times. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All right, everyone, if you'd like to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. For the rest of us, let the ceremony now be finished. Please open the circle of I forgot. Let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. And let the ceremony now be finished. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected. And surround us with a massive 12D shield of golden light with the divine seal of protection. And let our energies remain intact inside that protective bubble. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of the ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye.